Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Dishing It Out with Dana. I'm Dana, and today in my kitchen we're going to be continuing my series on my famous mini scones. Today we're going to be making blueberry and lemon. You heard me. Get your pen and paper, come right back after this. Okay, so we're back. I want to go over one more time the pans that I use for my famous mini scones. I have a preformed pan here that I love to use. I've already used butter spray in my pan. Now you can use, as I've always said, a cookie sheet with parchment paper on top will work just fine if you're going to hand cut your scones. No problem. Just make sure you use parchment paper. And I want you to know that I love these pans, and if you can purchase these pans, you can get them online at Amazon and different places or Walmart, and they're fabulous. So get yourself some of these preformed pans. It'll make your job a lot easier. You won't even have to use flour on your board. It's perfect. This is a larger scone pan. If you choose, you can even pick up one of these and you can order. I love to use these when I'm making bigger scones, but for today's show, I'm making my famous mini scones. Okay, I love my handy dandy KitchenAid mixer. I've been using and making scones with this KitchenAid mixer for years. I love the way. You can use it by hand. You know, you can spin by hand, your little mixer. If you don't have a KitchenAid, you can do it by hand, but I find this is the best. Okay, so we're going to start with the ingredients. Ready? 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and that will help them rise. Now this is important. I have 1 stick of cold, you heard me, cold, very important, cold unsalted butter, cubed in small cubes. We have 1 lightly beaten egg. I have 3 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon, same thing, of vanilla extract. It's going to give it a great flavor. I'm going to be zesting this lemon and using the juice of 1 lemon. And you know, here we go, dried blueberries. They smell so good. Now, people have written me and asked me, can you use fresh fruit? Yes, you can. You can use fresh blueberries. The only thing I caution with blueberries, they need to be cold, not warm, because they'll break easy. Now, when they're cold, just be very careful. You're going to have to take the dough and fold them in the dough very carefully toward the end. That's the only way the blueberries will stay together. So you can use fresh blueberries, no problem. But for the recipe today, we're using dried blueberries. I find them very easy and safe to work with, and the scone will last a little longer because there are no preservatives in these scones. All right, and then last but not least, we have a 1/4 cup of cream. Now I've always said heavy cream works the best. You can use light cream, you can use half and half. At the end, we're going to be using some melted butter on our scones before they bake, as well as some granulated sugar, so we'll put those aside for now. Okay, so we're going to start with our dried ingredients, and if you are using a KitchenAid, you want to use this paddle, works the best. Okay, so let's put in our dried ingredients. We're going to put in our 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Let's get that right in there. Oops. Okay, our sugar and our baking powder, and there we go. And we're just going to use our spatula and just lightly mix those. Just make sure they're mixed. Lightly mix them so everything is mixed well, but you don't want flour all over the place, especially on you. All right, there we go. That is mixed pretty well. And the next thing we're going to do, okay, is we're going to put our paddle on. Now I will add my cubed butter. Let's see. There we go. All right, we're going to add our butter in, and we're going to put this on a number 2 mixer. And these are the cubes of butter that I have. I want these to be pea-sized. I want them to be about 1/4 of what they are now. So we're going to take this cold stick of unsalted cubed butter. We're going to put it right in our mixer. All right, just like that. All right, so we have put our unsalted cubed butter in the mixer, and now we are going to put that on a number 2 setting. All right, and we're going to let that go around for just about 2 minutes or so, maybe 3 minutes, until the butter is pea-sized. While this is stirring, we're going to take our lemon and we're going to zest it. Now, you can get a little handy dandy zester just like this. It's rough on one side and smooth on the other. I love to use this. So on the rough side, we're going to take our lemon and we're going to begin to zest. Now what you want to do is you want to, this is beautiful, you want to zest down to the rind, but don't zest the rind. Otherwise, the scones will be bitter. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to zest my lemon. All right, so I finished zesting my lemon, and now I'm going to take the lemon off of my little zester, just like that, with a little tiny spatula. Perfect. And what you want to do is yield roughly 1 teaspoon of lemon zest at least. Perfect. So here we go. Beautiful. So I'm just going to put that right inside my mixer in just a moment. First I want to check our butter, okay? It's been going for about 3 minutes now. Ah, that is good. Okay, perfect. So we have little tiny pea-sized pieces of butter, and that's exactly what I want for this recipe. Perfect. So at this point, we're going to add our lemon zest, and the next step is we're going to cut our lemon in half, and we're also using the juice of this lemon in our recipe today. Okay? If you don't have one of these, I recommend you get one. They are juicers. They are hand juicers, and I love them. I have one for oranges, I have one for lemons, and I have one for limes. And yes, they're coordinating colors. The orange juicer is orange, the lemon is yellow, and the lime is green, and I love them. All right, you can pick up these again at any Walmart or any Amazon. So we're going to take this juice right here of the lemon, we're going to put it right in the side where the holes are. And just like that, and with this end that's closed, we're going to juice right over our KitchenAid mixer into the bowl. Ready? Perfect. You see how simple that was? No fuss, no mess. Didn't even use a lot of strength. I love it. All right, let's do the other half. Perfect. Excellent. That was smooth and lovely. Okay. Perfect. Let's put this aside. Next step is now we're going to add our lightly beaten egg and our vanilla. All right. Bring our KitchenAid mixer back up and we're going to mix all of these together. So now we're going to add in our dried blueberries. And I like to use anywhere from 10 to 12 ounces of dried fruit in my mini scones. So you'll know they will really look full with the blueberries and the colorings. You don't want to have scones that really only have 1 or 2 blueberries in them or pieces of dried fruit. So whatever fruit you use, dried apricots, dried cranberries, dried blueberries, dried pineapple, just make sure you use roughly 10 to 12 ounces. Okay, so we're going to put that right in there. That was beautiful. And we're going to lift this baby right up and we're going to put that again on a number 2 setting. We're going to mix our dried blueberries in a little bit. All right, our blueberries are lightly mixed in here. I'm now going to show you the consistency of this dough. So we're just going to take the bowl off right now. You see how easy that comes right off? And we're going to take our paddle. It comes off very easily. The dough is not that sticky. All right, at this point, the dough feels really good. It's feels a little flaky yet moist. It doesn't stick to my hands at this point. It's really beautiful. Folks, if you can smell the aromas coming from this, it is divine. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my KitchenAid mixer, and as you can see at the bottom, sometimes you get a little bit of dried ingredient that still kind of sticks in the bottom. So what I'm going to do right now is simply fold it all in to make sure it's mixed properly. All right, I have mixed all of my ingredients on the bottom with my spatula, and now for the last ingredient to add for this part of the recipe is the cream. Now again, we're going to use, this is 1/4 cup of cream. We're probably only going to be using about 1/8 cup, about half of this. So I just have to check the consistency. So back on a number 2 setting. And you don't want to over mix scones. That's one secret too to a scone recipe. Have all your ingredients be cold and you don't want them over mixed. All right. We're going to put just about about 1/8 cup of cream in there. Yep, that's enough for me. That's a perfect scone dough. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to detach my mixer and we're going to show you what the finished dough looks like. All right, so everything came off quite easily on my paddle. And now I'm going to take the dough and I'm going to put it right on my board. And again, by using a preformed pan that's already butter sprayed, you don't really even need flour on your board because you're not going to be rolling anything. There we go. See how easily that comes out? Perfect. Let's get all that beauty out of there. All right. I'm now going to take my preformed pan and I'm going to be forming all of my scones inside of my preformed pan. And I like to use approximately enough where it's probably the size of a small meatball. All right, so probably, I don't know if you can see that, about the size of a small meatball. And I'm gonna place that right into my preformed, pre-buttered pan, and there we go. All right, let's do a couple more, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, again, probably the size of a small meatball, and I just simply push it in, not even all the way down, just enough where I'll form it just a little bit, because these will spread out while they're inside the oven. Okay, here's what they look like so far. I'm going to continue filling the rest of my pan, and we'll be right back. Now I'm going to put some melted butter. Now this is melted salted butter. You want to use salted butter. The reason is we've not used any salt inside our recipe. Now, a lot of cooks would wonder why. Well, I'll tell you why. I like to have control of the amount of salt that I use. I don't choose to use any salt inside the recipe because I use salted butter on top of these scones before they're baked. So, let me continue to butter the rest of these. Okay, so I finished buttering all of the tops of all of my mini scones, and now I'm just going to put the finished product on, a little bit of granulated sugar on top. So I've got the sweet, a little salty. It's perfect. Beautiful combination. Okay, last step, very important. One secret to these scones, they're now going to go in to the refrigerator. Yeah, you heard me, the refrigerator for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes in the refrigerator, because you want them nice and cold when they go in the oven, they're then going to go into a 400-degree oven for approximately 17 to 18 minutes. Check them after 17 minutes. Make sure the tops of the scones are lightly brown. As soon as they're lightly brown, they're ready to come out of the oven. Okay, and that's it. Let them cool for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we will be back with the finished product. And we're back, and here we go. Beautiful blueberry lemon scones. Oh, they smell so good. You know, aren't they beautiful? They're nice and lightly brown on the top. I think they look so pretty. Doesn't this look nice? You can serve them for brunch, for breakfast. You can have them with tea in the afternoon. Perfect. Okay, check it out. Let's just check it out. See, they're nice and spongy. They're, oh, these are beautiful. Folks, I wish you can smell these right now. We're going to do a nice taste test. You ready? Wow. Oh, this is divine. The blueberries pair perfectly with the lemon. It is just the perfect amount of lemon too. Well, listen, subscribe to my channel, Dishing It Out with Dana. I'm going to be having contests, and I'm going to be having some winners monthly for my cookbook on CD, Dana's Famous Quiche Recipes, and more. And I'd like you to email me and tell me how your scones came out. Until next time, bon appetit.